Hi everyone, and welcome back to Meerkat Musings. 2019, I'm hoping, will be the year that I actually finally do get around to using video a bit more. After all, it's quite handy, It's not always super quick because of how you have to upload these things, especially where you've got a faulty laptop, which you can't use at all, and one really slow laptop that takes about 5 years to upload something. But I think I do need to try and be a bit more multi-channel. I don't know what the expressions are these days with this sort of thing, but it can't hurt to use video from time to time to get messages out there and that kind of stuff. So I'm not really too sure what I'm going to talk about in this video. I think it's just kind of a random blog entry in verbal form, so it will probably lurch from one subject to the next. I suppose we could take a look at last year, at 2018. I have done a blog post recently which touched upon last year a little bit, not a great deal. It didn't touch upon anything too political, shall we say. It was quite personal, and it talked a little bit about some of the changes in my personal dynamics, shall we say. I changed job at the very end of 2017. So really 2018 was about finding my feet in my new job and adapting to how that's changed a few things. Because it means, firstly, where I am now means no weekends off work whatsoever. You can book weekends off work, of course you can. But it means, as a rule, you won't get a weekend off work via the rota. That changes things. Of course it does. You get time off in the week, but it changes things in respect of weekends. It also means no bank holidays off. You work every bank holiday, which again changes things because bank holidays are usually opportunities and occasions for families to get together. And the nature of my work at the moment doesn't really allow for that. So you have to get used to some different ways of doing things, and it does mean you don't see perhaps as much of certainly some of your family members as you'd like to. It makes it difficult to go places of a weekend, and it makes life more challenging in a lot of ways. I have to say that the job pays more than my previous job. There's no denying that. There is more money to be made where I am now. Money is not the be-all and end-all, it must be said, and I think I said this on my website as well. It's great to have more money. Of course it is. It opens up other opportunities in other ways. There are things that we might be able to do this year, for example, that in my previous job, as much as I loved my previous job and I loved the people that I worked with, it simply wouldn't be possible to do some of these things in that job, or it would take me a lot longer to be in a position to do them. So things, have changed, have shifted in more ways than one. But it's one of those tricky things. It's finding a balance between the personal and the professional. And it's also finding a way to make sure that one does not interfere too much with the other as well. I've always been someone who's tried to place my work life and my personal life into two separate boxes. And that way one can't affect the other. But it's not always possible, of course. I mean, sometimes you can have a bad time at work and you can't help but perhaps take that home with you. Sometimes you can have some stuff going on in your personal life and you can't help but take it to work. We are human beings at the end of the day. All of us carry weaknesses, we carry flaws, and with the best will in the world, sometimes we can't necessarily switch off. We can't sometimes not take work home with us, And I feel perhaps sometimes last year I did struggle to switch off from work because it's a very different environment, a more high-pressured environment to what I was used to previously. And you can't help sometimes, especially bearing in mind it's a commission-driven job, have it play on your mind. You can have a great day and you can go and have a day off and you can just totally forget about it. If you've had a bad day or a couple of bad days, then, sometimes it dwells on the back of your mind, even when you've got time off from work. Which, it does, affect things. It does apply a certain measure of stress, and it's something which I'm trying to manage. It's not always easy. Of course, it's not. But you just have to find a way to push through it. You have to remember what you're fighting for. In my case, I'm fighting for the well-being of my wife and daughter, and myself as well. I'm not going to work and earning extra money not to enjoy it. There are things I want to do. There are things I want to get, and I'm not working solely for the benefit of everyone else, but my first priority in all things is, of course, my wife and daughter. That's why I'll endure whatever extra stress might come around because of work. I do that for them because I love them, and I will always fight for them. That's what I'm there to do. I'm there to fight for them, to earn money for them, and I say for myself, and just do the best I can on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes you have to accept that you will have bad days at work or slow days at work. It's the nature of the game sometimes, but hopefully, a bit of karma, a bit of luck will swing back in your favour. You have to work at it, but I do believe the job in question does involve a fair bit of luck from time to time. You're going up to various people and asking them questions, and some of them will be prepared to sort of bite, as it were, there and then, and order something, and some of them won't. And you don't know until you speak to them who's going to do what. So I think there is an element of luck behind the job that I'm in. There is also a lot of stuff that you can work at yourself. It's certainly not all down to luck by any stretch of the imagination. But I think you have to remember there were certain things in your control, and there were certain things which are not in your control. You can't worry about the stuff you can't control. You have to learn to let go of that stuff. The only things that you need to think about are the things that you can directly influence. So it's making sure in my environment that I'm getting up and I'm speaking to as many customers as possible. Some of them will be prepared to say, what, can I have this thing here? Some of them might have to work on. Some of them will literally just be browsing. But the more people we speak to, law of averages demands, the more you'll sell more. So you just have to keep yourself motivated, on your feet, go, go, go. You have a bad sale, you just have to think to yourself, well, you know what? It's still a sale, it's still a deal, it's still money. Shrug it off, move on to the next one. And just keep a picture in your mind, or in my case, I keep a picture in my mind of my wife and daughter. I'm there for them. I'm not there to please anyone else. I'm not there to, ultimately to please anyone except my wife, daughter, and myself. So they're the ones that I focus on. They're the ones that I concentrate on every single time I go to work. And then, as I say, hopefully, karma will swing around, luck will swing around, call it what you will, but eventually you get what you're owed, shall we say, and the situation will spin around in your favour. Because if there is, justice, shall we say, in the world, if there is, God or fate or whatever, then sooner or later, surely the scales balance themselves out, is what I'm saying. Or what I'm hoping for anyway. I mean, I don't know if there is a God. I don't know if there is such a thing as fate. But if there is, you'd like to think that eventually they balance these things out so that it's fair for everybody. And if there isn't, then you just have to work twice as hard to make sure it does work in your favour. So, yeah, that was 2018. It was really a case of finding my feet in my new job, learning a few things about myself, and pushing on as far as I could. And it kind of felt a lot like 2018 for me was dominated by work in a lot of ways. Well, not completely. My wife and daughter, my mother and father, my brother, sister-in-law, and their little boy. We did have a break for a week down on the south coast of the UK, in Dorset, in a place called Poole, which it's Poole, Poole. And if you look it up on the map, you'll see it's right down south, and there's quite a lot of history down there in that neck of the woods. The nature of it back in the sort of 1700s and 1800s, it was one of a number of major shipping ports with ships coming in carrying cargo from all parts of the world, fueling or helping to fuel, if you like, the British Empire. So there's quite a lot of history down there in that neck of the woods. And it was also just, from a holiday point of view, it was nice just to have a break. It was nice just to spend a week, not having to worry about work, not having to worry about this, that and the other, just chilling out. The weather, unfortunately, wasn't as nice as it could have been, so it kind of prevented us from perhaps doing things like going swimming as much as we would have liked to. But we did fill up the week with quite a few things. We went to a rustic old English Civil War era castle and village. We saw like a farm, a zoo, it was a farm, little farm environment. We also did a few things with my little girl. She did some, I'm not sure what to call it. She baked a couple of ornaments, is the word. Painted them, baked them, some little china ornaments, which she thoroughly enjoyed. She did some bungee trampolining, which a couple of years ago she never would have done. So her confidence has come on amazingly in that respect. And as I say, we just generally speaking, we just kicked back and we relaxed, and we didn't really do a great deal of anything for a week. And it was nice. It was good. It was pleasant. We just we had the opportunity to unwind, which was needed. And it would be nice if we could do something similar again this year. Whether that would be in this country again, whether that would be abroad, I don't know. Who knows? But we might do something. But that, of course, is for the future, and we'll have to wait and see. So what else is going on then? Well, just as maybe a smaller, I don't think it's a silly note, but maybe as a smaller kind of side note, one of the things I'm hoping to do this year, a little bit of, I've seen quite a few people on YouTube, for example, who stream some of their gaming experiences. Now, I would love to do that with perhaps the Switch. I also got for Christmas a Nintendo Wii U, which was the precursor to the Switch. I got that for one reason, to play the game Super Mario Maker, which so far Nintendo have stubbornly refused to announce for the Switch, even though I think it's perfect for the Switch. But it's an opportunity to get to grips with Mario Maker. It's a very fun game. It is quite literally what you make of it. And my hope, shall we say, would be to have the opportunity to record and stream some experiences playing that, and also playing some games on the Switch as well. But at the moment, we'll have to wait and see as to whether that happens this year. Because what I would need, first of all, is my new laptop repaired and back, and then you need to get some equipment to hook everything together properly, because it's not as simple as plug the Switch or the Wii U into the laptop. You need to have some other gear. It's not expensive gear, it's just finding time to actually order it and get it sort of all sorted out. But like I say, it's kind of dependent upon having the better laptop repaired and back, because the old laptop just won't be able to hack this at all. Beyond that, I'm not really too sure what else there is to say. It's very cold, weather-wise, right now, here in the UK, with it being approaching the middle of January. They keep forecasting snow, but then again, some of the newspapers are saying we'd have snow throughout December. I think we might have seen a couple of snowflakes. That was it. So, whenever they say we're going to get loads of snow, I generally take that with a massive pinch of salt. Because usually it just seems to be hysteria more than anything else. It's at times like this, as much as the kind of 35-degree heat we had in summer was unbearable at times, it's at times like this when you think to yourself, you know what, I would really welcome a heat wave right now, but we're not going to be that lucky for a while. We just have to endure for the next few months and hopefully not have the massive snowfalls that they keep threatening us with. But if it does snow, well, I suppose if nothing else, the kids will be happy. I think that's it for now. I've probably bored you for long enough, and I will do some more videos later which might be more interesting. Thank you for listening.